Listen, we got some serious news to discuss involving Triple H, or should I say Paul Triple H Levesque. I think that's about right.
Hmm.
Ain't that right, Tati? You know,
That's right.
so he was on record. He was on the show with Pat McAfee, and he had made some comments. And I heard it. Like I said, it was kind of wild. He was so animated. He said, "Well, I mean, if I'm talking to guys and they want to get." They're trying to develop, and you don't want to do the grind, and you coming to me talking about they work less, and I want to go over it. Well, good. I'm happy we didn't get. It was just somewhere around those lines of alluding.
Hmm.
And he didn't mention nobody. This is just Paul. This Paul Triple H Levesque. This is an executive we
Yeah.
talking about here now. He ain't gonna put no names out there, but he would. They better stop playing with Triple H. You know,
He
uh,
would.
yeah. So Will Ospreay thought it was about him, which I believe it was.
Yep.
And it could have been about other people as well. But Will Ospreay went on AEW Dynamite with Miss Renee Young, or old, or was it Renee Paquette, if I'm not mistaken.
Renee Paquette.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. There's new things going on. So basically, she says, he traveling all over the world. You grinding. The only thing you got was grinding on the boss's daughter. Before we get into the severity of these comments, what was your thoughts on this whole saga? Between
Mhm.
Will Ospreay, the aerial assassin, and Paul Triple H Levesque, the game. Talk to us, Tati.
So honestly, when Triple H said that, I figured not only was he talking about Osprey, but he was also talking about Okada and Mercedes, because those are the three new signees that AEW has. And I'm pretty sure some people in WWE might be a little envious of their schedule. They At AEW they don't have to work as much. They can see their families more. And I could totally understand why somebody would prefer that. They want to spend more time with their families. Wrestlers, unfortunately, they work so hard. They're gone for their families most days of the year. So someone might want to go to AEW and want to spend more time with their family and continue their wrestling career. I totally get that. However, Triple H is putting that out there in terms of, like, we're WWE. We work multiple days a week. We're more entertaining. We have guys and girls that want to be out and performing for the fans. And I get that. That made them sound more of an elite class, if he asks me, no pun intended. But I do think that I understood where Triple H was going, but I don't know why he had to bring it up.
Right, I'm with you. I think that Triple H is always going to echo, that WWE is just at another level. And
Yeah.
um, I don't know if everybody ready to go through the NXT circuit. You understand? Some
Oh.
people, the way, and I ain't gonna lie, to be honest with you, you shouldn't feel like this is you in the developmental league or whatever you want to put it out there, because all of the greats
Hmm.
that we've seen so far that's rolling through WWE, they all have graced NXT. So this
Yeah.
notion that this is some punishment, or I could be doing something else, or what the heck like, I think all that is absurd. Do you think that NXT? Because clearly, I think Will Ospreay was going to be used in NXT first. Do
Mm.
you think NXT is causing a riffraff between some of these guys that are just ready to get to the main roster? Because it's probably like maybe what Dean Ambrose and maybe Daniel Bryan, Christian, Edge, the only people they don't have to develop or repackage or do something with. I mean,
Hmm.
what do you think about how is NXT playing a factor in these guys not signing?
Um, Honestly, if I was running WWE, I would not put Will Ospreay on NXT. People are not gonna want to hear this, but I would have put Jade on NXT. I think she needs the experience. Unfortunately, she didn't get the best experience with AEW, so I think her being over there would have worked out for her, But I get it. People wanted her to jump onto the main roster and be with Bianca and wrestle all the big women in WWE. But Will Ospreay, I don't think I would have. I get it. Like, I mean, going to NXT is not a bad thing. Some people might see it like, oh, you're putting me down by putting me in a developmental stage. And when I've been wrestling for so long, I've been all around the world. I get that. But for Will Ospreay to go to NXT, I think I don't think that would have been the best fit for him. And even Okada, if he went over there too, I would have still put him on the main roster. I really think it's based off the experience the wrestler has. So Jade for sure would have put her there. I think she needs the help, but the other wrestlers, no, I wouldn't have put them in NXT.
Right, I'm there with you. Obviously, Triple H he wanted to get him because I heard his name ringing. There was obviously some negotiations, but I think
Yeah.
and I think it wasn't fair. But I also don't think it was fair. And if you look at history, the Monday Night Wars and things of that nature, they all have
Hmm.
to come back. One thing's for sure, two things for certain. WWE ain't going nowhere, and AEW is up to Tony Khan really because I think it's different from how it was with WCW. Tony Khan is a billionaire. It's going to be up to him how it's up to him how long he want to keep doing this.
Yeah,
As long as he's fine doing it, it's going to keep running, which I think he wants. This is his dream. That's what they said to be a
absolutely.
booker. So he's
Hmm.
gonna see this thing through. I don't think it's gonna be a notion where they about to pack it up and it's about to be a
No,
wholesale chain. It's not gonna go down like that. I think everybody needs to slow down because that's what people are calling for. Some people, um,
right.
but go ahead and speak to that.
So I think Tony Khan allowing for Will Ospreay to say that was wild. And if we
Yeah,
saw Renee next to him, she looks so uncomfortable. Like I'm pretty sure she still have friends and in good terms with a lot of people in WWE. So I don't think she knew that he was going to say that at all. So you can see she looked really, really surprised to hear that. I just feel like AW shouldn't focus on whatever Triple H is saying or whoever is saying. They got to just focus on moving in silence and just showing people that they can be a great wrestling promotion. I do think that they are. I think Tony Khan is really trying to make a difference in pro wrestling, but he's getting caught up in the messy stuff, and that can be a huge issue for AEW. They've only been around for 5 years. They can't really afford to be getting into messy things with WWE or whoever it is. They need to be focusing on just improving, and pretty soon people will see that not only do they have an amazing roster in AEW, they do put on great matches, and we can have better storylines, and people would enjoy AEW. Like I said, I love pro wrestling. Wherever there's good wrestling, I'm going to watch. And some people at this point are loyal to only WWE, and I get that. But there's great wrestling everywhere else. And if Tony Khan could just focus on just giving that to the fans and stay out of the mess, I think they'll be fine.
you speak to that. What's this tribalism that's going on in professional wrestling, which I think is
Oh,
tough. I don't think it's good, because we should be able to scour because it's talent. Even in TNA, they got stars.
oh yes, I do.
So what's your thought on this whole tribalism that's been going on forever?
I I'm not part of that. I On my channel, I promote any wrestling that I see. I tell people go check out this. I go to, indie shows where tickets are just $10. Like I watch wrestling wherever it's at. However, some people feel like they have to be loyal to a specific promotion. It's not just WWE fans because there are AEW fans that are loyal to just AEW and don't watch anything else and they'll talk shit about WWE. And to me, it's like everybody has their favorites, but the tribalism, it goes down to, you see bullying, you see people are I don't know, like they make it seem like there's one company that's the best and the others don't compare, and to me it's just like there's great pro wrestling everywhere. Does it really matter? Sure, you can have your favorites. I have my favorites too. Sometimes I really, really enjoy AEW more. Sometimes I enjoy WWE more, but I don't focus on the negativity because when the tribalism come into it, a lot of negativity comes because a lot of these wrestling fans, real talk, are not mature at all.
No, you're right about that. Also, I want to speak back to my man Jack Perry. Pardon me, not Jack Perry. Excuse me. Make sure you check that video out as well. I want to get to my man Will Ospreay. I think Will
Hmm.
Ospreay is gonna regret these comments, because um, they all have to see WWE eventually. Who's to say that he's not going to be back in the meeting with Triple H? These comments could come back to bite him. What's your
Yeah.
thoughts on that aspect? Because I feel like they all going to have to double back. WWE ain't going nowhere. Triple H look like he on the first second gear right now. He just getting started.
You're right. It's funny you said that because we just talked about the CM Punk thing because CM Punk has also said negative things about WWE too, and even on AEW TV. I'm pretty sure he apologized about those things. I'm pretty sure he regret those things. He talked about how he did a FaceTime call with Triple H and they buried the hatchet. So I'm pretty sure he apologized about whatever happened in the past. Now, if for whatever reason things don't work out with some of these wrestlers in AEW, I could see them going on over to WWE or any other promotion too. So they have to go and face, Paul Levesque for his little Paul Levesque era that they got going on now. I can see them apologizing and trying to be on good graces to, work in WWE. There's a lot of wrestlers in AEW that I think might jump over there. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yep, absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised either. Like I said, in WWE, in pro wrestling, I don't want to just say WWE.
Hmm.
Business overrules a lot, So
Yeah.
even though he said what he said, Triple H is not looking at it at an emotional standpoint. He might be looking at it as
Hmm.
how he could put this guy up against that guy and bring in the dollars. So I think that the
Absolutely.
comments are really gonna be worth nothing. Like you said, CM Punk this was in a lawsuit, even though it really wasn't Triple H. The real thing was Vince. Triple H, I think, was a casualty in all of this. Because he was so close to the vest. But the
Yeah.
beef really was with Vince with
Absolutely.
the CM Punk situation, and it's a different company now.
Yeah,
So
it is.
I just don't know. I mean, but that's CM Punk though. You got this guy; he just started, and you heard Triple H say that early in your career. So clearly he may be looking at a CM Punk and a Will Ospreay and the whole. Whoa, wait a minute now. This is a different caliber of talent in terms of what you could be bringing in to the
Mhm.
promotion. So
Right.
I mean, I think that he's gonna. I think that Triple H is nothing. His business will overrule this if he ever does decide to come to WWE, which I think at the end of the day, WWE, the legacy, you heard Jay speak to that.
Mhm.
It's just second to none. I mean, AEW is just getting started. You
Yeah.
got WrestleMania, you got Backlash, you have all this rich history. And it's almost like you eventually got to cross that stage to almost feel like you validated. But I do like what AEW is doing because they are trying to stop that mold to where you don't have to just go to WWE to be looked at as a superstar. What's your thoughts on
Absolutely.
that? Excuse me.
Yeah, so I agree. The AEW is alternative when it comes to professional wrestling, and a lot of people find it to be a good place to work or just watch wrestling. So some wrestlers might not feel like, oh, I have to be in WWE to be someone. You can feel like you are someone in AEW. Now, Will Ospreay, I do consider him to be at the very best in terms of wrestling. I follow him in New Japan for years now. He has some of the best wrestling matches of last year to me. Two of the top matches that I saw last year had Will Ospreay in them, and I think he's amazing. And I do think that it's a shame that he didn't go to WWE because I would have liked to see him there too. The possibilities of matches that he could have had with several wrestlers would have been insane. However, he chose AEW because he had a working relationship with them and because he gets to spend more time with his family. So I get Triple H saying that, they have this world class elite wrestlers there that are willing to be on the road all the time. But some people don't really want to sacrifice time with family. So I understand why Will Ospreay chose AEW.
Listen, and the people are going to continue to choose AEW. Like I said, they're not going anywhere. They just got to iron these things out. And I do believe
Hmm.
Tony Khan, he's a smart man. I think they're going to get somebody in there, and I think the people is in the roof. They just got to come together. and just
Yeah.
put it out. They got the talent. You got Joe, you got Swerve. I mean, you got even more than that. Like I said, you got Okada. You have so much. You got Will. You have Brian. You got the veterans. Like I said, even Christian Cage and Edge. I mean, Adam Copeland. These guys still could go. And this still
Yeah,
matters.
they're amazing.
I heard Adam Copeland say, "I never touched this guy. I never touched that guy." And like I said, is matchups to be had. We're gonna get into it. This is just the beginning. We got more content coming for the people.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tati. It was an honor to work with you. I think this is just the beginning. This partnership between us. Professional wrestling. Runs deep. Obviously in you, and it runs in me. And we're gonna continue to do this. Make sure you go subscribe. Let everybody know where they can find you, Tati.
Yes, you can find me on YouTube. Search Wrestle Tati. You can also find me on X and Instagram, Wrestle Tati. If you like pro wrestling, you can watch my watch alongs and also my reviews on just about everything pro wrestling.
Yep. You heard what she said. Make sure you hit the like button and most definitely hit the subscribe button. It's Flight Sports TV.